So let's talk about something huge that's happening right now, deep inside the pharmaceutical industry. It's this massive, high stakes digital revolution. And trust me, it's set to completely change how we find, create, and get the medicines that save our lives. We're going to explore what this all really means.
Have you ever wondered about this? It's a fantastic question. We hear about these incredible, mind-blowing scientific discoveries, but then the industry actually making them happen can feel, well, super slow and cautious. That's exactly what we're going to dig into, why that is, and how it's all about to change, big time.
And it all really boils down to this central conflict, something we can call the innovation paradox. It's this fundamental clash between two completely different ways of thinking that are now being forced to work together.
Okay, so on one side, you've got the tech world's famous mantra, move fast and break things. It's all about speed, disruption, constant change. But on the other side, you have pharma's sacred mission, move carefully and save lives. I mean, there's just no way you can break things when actual human lives are on the line, right? This deeply ingrained, risk-averse culture is the single biggest reason pharma has been so careful with new tech.
All right, so if that's the problem, what's the solution? How does an industry like this move forward without taking massive risks? Well, let's get into it. The answer is a powerful suite of new technologies, often bundled together and called Pharma 4.0. You can think of it as a whole new prescription for progress.
First up, you've got artificial intelligence, or AI. The best way to think about it is like a brilliant researcher on steroids. AI can analyze these just colossal mountains of genetic and chemical data, spotting patterns that a human scientist might take a whole lifetime to find. It can speed up the hunt for new drugs and even help predict which ones are most likely to succeed in clinical trials. It's a total game changer.
Next up, we have digital twins, and this concept is it's genius. Imagine a hyper-realistic flight simulator, but instead of a plane, it's for a drug manufacturing plant. You create a perfect, live, virtual copy of the entire process. This means you can play around, test new ideas, train people, and predict problems in a completely safe digital world, all without ever putting a single real batch of life-saving medicine at risk.
And rounding out our toolkit is blockchain. Now, you've probably heard about it with things like Bitcoin, right? Well, in pharma, it's used as a kind of digital passport for every single drug. It creates this unhackable, totally transparent history of a medicine's journey, all the way from the factory floor to your local pharmacy. This is a huge deal in the fight against dangerous counterfeit drugs. Okay, so those are the tools. That's the theory. But what does this actually look like in the real world? How does it work? Let's walk through a perfect example of how a digital twin can literally save the day. So picture this. A factory is making a really important cancer drug. See, sensors all over the real-world equipment are constantly feeding live data into its digital twin. Then, all of a sudden, the AI inside that virtual model predicts a tiny, tiny shift in temperature, something a human might not even notice. But it knows this little change could spoil the entire multi-million-dollar batch. An alert goes out instantly, an engineer makes a quick fix on the real production line, and disaster is completely avoided. That is what safe innovation looks like.
But making this happen isn't as simple as just buying some new software. It is a complete overhaul of the whole organization across what you could call three pillars. You need the right people, the data scientists, the AI engineers, and crucially, the regulatory experts who know the rules inside and out. You absolutely need new processes to make sure these complex algorithms are safe and ethical. And of course, you need the technology itself, the heavy-duty computing power and secure data storage to make it all run.
Now, as you can probably imagine, a transformation on this scale is not going to be cheap, and it's certainly not going to be fast. So let's look at the numbers and see why these companies are willing to make such a massive bet. First, let's talk about the cost. We're looking at an average total investment of a cool $15 million. That is a serious chunk of change. And it's not just the money, it's the time. On average, it takes over 19 months. That's more than a year and a half just to get one of these major solutions up and running.
So you have to ask, why on earth would they do it? Well, here's why. The payoff it's just monumental. The average expected return on that investment is nearly 389%. So yeah, it's not just about getting more efficient. It's about gaining a massive long-term advantage.
And if we break that down by technology, it gets even more interesting. You can see that some bets pay off even bigger than others. Blockchain brings in an amazing 320% ROI. AI is even better at 450%. But look at digital twins, the tech we just saw in action.
it leads the whole pack with an incredible 520% return. And that makes sense, right? Because it directly prevents those incredibly expensive failures.
Okay, this is all fascinating stuff from a business and technology angle, but let's get to the most important part. What does this digital revolution actually mean for all of us, for patients?
Because this, right here, is the real bottom line. For you and me, it means new cures could be discovered way faster than before. It means medicines could become more affordable as clinical trials get cheaper and more efficient. It means you can trust that the drugs you or your family take are absolutely safe and authentic. And, maybe most exciting of all, it means we're moving towards a future of truly personalized treatments, medicines designed just for you.
And that really brings us full circle, doesn't it? This quote just nails it. Real success here isn't just about having the flashiest new tech. It's about building it all in a way that never, ever loses sight of that core mission, keeping patients safe and making sure the product is perfect. So when you put it all together, as these powerful new tools get woven into the fabric of the pharmaceutical world, it leaves us with a really inspiring final thought. With the technology finally catching up to the incredible science, the question isn't if we can solve the impossible anymore. The real question is, what are we going to solve next?